Hello, everybody. Welcome to another KMU Pod live podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Chabruggi, up here in Salina, and joining me down there in Elkhart, Derek Relaford. How you doing, Derek?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
Doing all right. Just been getting stuff done and getting things ready. I've been busy. The last night and a half doing flyers. I did 4 this morning as soon as I got out of bed.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, holy mackerel, it's going to be a busy day. Between making them and updating them, I've been keeping busy.
I got off work and took a nap. I've been sick the last 4 days, so I just woke up. I'm trying to get to get alert.
Oh wow! I'm trying to avoid all that stuff because, of course, this Saturday I'm going to Wichita to Comic-Con for a little while, so I'm trying to avoid getting sick if at all possible. Weather may factor in though between now and then because they're talking about these huge storms moving across the country the next few days, and my brother tells me that here they're talking just like really heavy winds on Friday, but so far nothing bad for Saturday. So we'll see what happens.
I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of the wind. I'm sick of the cold.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stay warm, man.
Right. I actually had my bedroom window open a little bit today. Let some air in. That felt pretty good. I started getting a little chilly, so I closed it. Kendra, it's Queenie Albini under the name Kendra Albin. Okay.
That must be her government name. Or part of her government name.
Everybody be sure you share the show out to everybody and let them know that we're here and what we're doing and what we're going to be doing, and tell them to join us and check it out.
Yeah.
Definitely. Whether they watch us on Facebook or on our YouTube channel, and have them join us somewhere.
100%.
Okay. Well, tonight, before we get started in our main cases, I want to talk about a couple of cases I've been kind of keeping up with in the news the last couple of days or so. And one I touched on last week. It's this young lady here, Emily Pike. She is a member of the San Carlos Apache tribe. She was reported around late January of this year. She was last seen alive on foot near Mesa Drive and McPhillips Road after leaving the group home where she lived there in the Mesa area. A group of hikers discovered Emily's dismembered remains in trash bags off U.S. Highway 60, approximately 100 miles away from her the group home where she lived northeast of Globe in Gia County. And they called police. Upon arrival, detectives found her head and her torso in large contractor bags with Emily's legs in separate bags. However, they still have not located her arms or her hands. I was watching a news clip where a retired FBI agent kind of felt like maybe they did that for identification purposes, or maybe she had, maybe she had scratched whoever attacked her and their DNA was under her fingernails. So maybe they thought getting rid of the hands and fingernails would eliminate that. The preliminary autopsy results showed that she did have visible face and head trauma. They said initially she snuck out the side window of a group home that she lived in. She was going to meet a boy that she had just met. And then from there, she was going to hitchhike to where her family lived, which is a little over 100 miles away from the group home. And where they found her remains was a little more than halfway between where the group home was and where her family was. So not sure how all that transpired, but there have not been any arrests made yet. So
all I can see. Met him online?
Do it.
Did it say where she met him online?
They didn't say it was online. It's something to do with where she was taking guitar lessons, I believe, is what they had said.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah. So if by chance anybody has information, get a hold of Gia County, Arizona Sheriff's Office. 928-200-2352. You can also reach the Bureau of Indian Affairs Special Agents at 505-917-7830, or the San Carlos Apache Tribal Police Detective at 926-475-1755. And see if we can't help this young lady get some justice. I mean, she was only 14. So she was soon to be 15.
That one on Facebook. I want to send that to my few people I know in Phoenix. Mesa's suburb of Phoenix.
Yeah. Then the other one I want to cover, there's already been there's been arrests made in this case, but in regards to the 16-year-old Miranda Corset, and this is down in the Tampa Bay area of Florida. She had met a gentleman online, and this is his picture on the left there, 35-year-old Stephen Gress, on a dating app on Valentine's Day. And he had talked her into going out on a date, and she did. And they went back to his place that he shared with 37-year-old Michelle Brandis, and went back home that night. And then she decided to go back over to their house the next day on the 15th. And at some point, an argument broke out over a missing piece of jewelry of theirs, Stephen and Michelle's. Apparently, it was a ring. So over the course of the next several days, they beat and tortured that poor girl, and eventually suffocated her. And then they took her to a home that was owned by a family member of 37-year-old Michelle Brandis's, and there was evidence there that they had dismembered her, took her remains and put them in a dumpster. Police have tracked down the dumpster, but it had already been emptied. So now they're having to figure out where that trash was taken to which landfill, so they can try to hopefully, recover her remains and return them to her family for a proper burial. Sadly, Miranda's parents were both deceased. Her grandmother was her primary caregiver, and Miranda was also the mother of an 11-month-old baby. So, very sad situation down there in Florida. They both have been arrested. They both are charged with first-degree murder. And quite honestly, I hope they put them under the jail.
Mm-hmm.
And put them under it.
Yeah.
So that's where they belong. I mean, anybody that would do that to a 16-year-old girl over a stupid ring, I mean, that's ridiculous. It just never ceases to amaze me what people will do to other people. It's just stupid.
It's not good, man.
Kind of choke but man.
We'll go ahead and start the regular show. You're watching KMU Pod. Share it to your friends. I feel like I'm dying, but we're here. We'll be right back.
Part 1. Cold cases, stories left untold, families seeking answers, and justice waiting in the shadows. Together, we uncover the truth.
And real quick, regarding Miranda's case, I wanted to bring that one up because I just want to remind parents out there, because I'm a parent myself, and I still talk to my daughters, even though they're both adults now. Talk to your kids, let them know about these dangers, but, continue to do the best you can at monitoring what your kids are doing, whether it's on apps, whether it's on social media, whether it's on online gaming. Make sure you know what they're doing and who they're talking to, even if they get mad. I mean, if you have to reference cases like that, which I know some kids will be like, well, I'm too smart for that. That won't happen to me. Let's hope it doesn't. But I mean, there's evidence right there of meeting somebody on an app, what could conceivably happen. So, if you could do that, like I say, just monitor what your kids are doing to keep them safe, for crying out loud. I mean, like I said, I've talked to my daughters about this kind of stuff so many times that they're like, Dad, I know, you've told us 100 times. And I was like, well, I'm going to tell you 100 more, because I'm trying to keep them safe, for crying out loud. You just never know. Getting back to what's on the screen there, Dietrich Foster, District of Independence, Kansas, since April 12, 2020. 37 women missing.
Hey, Ricky, I'm going to go ahead and mute you. Go ahead and leave and come back because your microphone's doing the craziness again. Ellen Dotson here from Leavenworth, Kansas. Hawkeye agreeing with D. Fur.
Hang on.
You might be good now, talk.
How's that going?
So far, so good.
Just still doing the walk?
So far, so you're good.
So far, so good? Okay, let's try it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I've got another microphone sitting down here in this box, and I need to get it out and get it hooked up. That's what I need to do. Anyway, Dietrich Foster, missing from Independence, Kansas, since April 12, 2020. There's 37 women missing. He's now 42, 5'9", 190 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Dietrich was last reported missing on May 12th. He was last seen around April 12th in Independence. KBI agents and detectives from the Independence Police Department are conducting the case as a homicide based upon findings during the investigation into Dietrich's disappearance. He was 37 women missing. He's now 42, 5'9", 190 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He has a scar on his chest from heart surgery.
Yeah, and Ricky, go ahead and leave and come back, man. Dietrich Foster, Independence, Kansas, April 12, 2020. 37 went missing. Now he's 42. missing from Independence, Kansas. Reportedly missing on May 12th. He was last seen April 12th in Independence. KBI agents and detectives in Independence Police Department are conducting the case as a homicide based upon findings during the investigation into Foster's disappearance. Let's check you out. Say 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, just go ahead and take over from at the time of his disappearance.
Okie dokie. I got to get to his flyer again. At the time of his disappearance, he was 37. He's now 42, 5'9", 190 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Has a scar on his chest from heart surgery, a scar on the right side of his nose. Has the following tattoos: a cross on his right arm or forearm, the astrological sign for Gemini on his right arm, 3 dice on his arm, the name Dejeuner on his arm, and the word foo on his abdomen. If you have any information regarding Dietrich's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Independence, Kansas Police Department at 620-332-1700 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And there is a governor's reward of $5,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for the disappearance and suspected murder of Dietrich Foster. So if you have any information at all, no matter how small or minute you think it might be, get it called in so the investigators can determine whether, it's something they need or not. I can't stress that enough.
$5,000. I bet you only have like 5 to 10 cases that have governor's rewards that we cover.
Probably.
There's a lot of rewards by families and like organizations, but the governor's reward seems to be like a pretty coveted thing to have on a flyer.
Yeah, right before the show, I was working on a unsolved homicide out of Kansas City it was man and a woman, same case, and Crime Stoppers in Kansas City, man, they're offering rewards of up to $25,000. So
yeah, man,
kind of crazy. I'll have to get that one posted after the show. I just got it finished, but I'm trying to see if I can't land a better picture. This is Alexander Perez, missing from Ulysses, Kansas since December 1st, 2020. 35 when he missing. He's now 39, 5'11", 235 pounds. Black hair that he shaves nearly bald and brown eyes. He called a family member on the phone on December 1st and said he'd be coming to their home to do laundry. He never arrived at the family member's home in Ulysses. Alexander has not been heard from or seen by family or friends since then. He's been staying with family and friends prior to his disappearance. And at the time of his disappearance, he was 35. He's now 39, 5'11", weighs 235 pounds, has black hair that he shaves nearly bald and brown eyes, has a tattoo of a bumblebee on his face underneath his left eye, has Perez tattooed on one of his arms. He has a tattoo of a cross on a chain across his chest. If you have any information regarding Alexander's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Grant County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-356-3500 or the Ulysses, Kansas Police Department at 620-356-4600 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see what we can do to get Alex found and back home to his family. And maybe hopefully someday they'll put a governor's reward on his too.
I never really noticed it, but that Kansas City Chiefs picture up top, he's kind of husky, and then the rest of him, he looks like he got pretty skinny.
Yeah.
I don't know in my mind which one's the most recent, but it looks like he was real skinny at one point and kind of chubby at one point. Not big, thicker.
Yeah.
Healthy, I guess is what they'd want to call it. Just kind of
All right. And Jonathan Jensen, he's missing from Kerwin, Kansas since June 14, 2023. He was 52 when he was missing. He's now 54, 5'11", 190 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. He left without his vehicle, his cell phone, or his wallet. And his daughter has told us that he does have some mental health issues and does tend to have episodes. Again, he was 52 when he went missing. He's now 54. He's 5'11", weighs 190 pounds, has brown hair and hazel eyes. If you have any information regarding Jonathan's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Phillips County, Kansas Sheriff's Office, 785-543-6885 or KBI at 785-296-4017. See what we can do to get Jonathan back home to his family. Hey, Kelly, how you doing? How's Scarlett doing? Okay.
Great Bend, Kansas.
Yep, Charles McHenry. He is missing from Great Bend since May 6, 2016. He was 27 when he went missing. He's now 36. 6'2", 180 pounds, black hair, black eyes. And was last known to be driving an unknown make two-door black car away from a house in the 500 block of Northwest 20 Avenue between Hoisington and Great Bend, Kansas. And he was 27 when he went missing. He's now 36, 6'2", 180 pounds. His black hair and black eyes. He was last known to be wearing a black T-shirt and denim shorts. He has tattoos on his left arm. One is of the cross, and it says Tyler. It's on his upper arm. And he has an eagle with a flag on the lower arm. They are pictured above up there. His eyebrow and left ear are pierced. He has a large scar near his left knee, a large scar on his right arm from the elbow to the wrist, a scar on his right knee, a scar on his forehead, scars on both sides of his ribs, a scar on the bottom of his left foot, a dimple or dip in his left bicep. He has a plate in his right arm from his elbow to his wrist and 2 screws in his left knee. If you have any information regarding Charles's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Great Bend, Kansas Police Department at 620-793-4120 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See what we can do to get Charles located and back home to his family. It's beginning to be quite some time now. We're looking at coming up on 9 years.
Long time, man.
Yeah. She's okay, crazy as ever. I'm all right, though, surviving the best we can. Yeah, that's all we can do, survive the best we can. Yeah, we're doing okay. Just keeping going.
Try to keep our head above water.
Right.
Excuse me.
This is Megan Renee Fogelsong. I just recently got her going back in the rotation again because I got to, thinking about her case and, no resolution to her case yet either. She's missing from Alden, Kansas since December 2015. Was 21 when she was missing. She's now 31, 5'4", 150 pounds, sandy blonde hair, green eyes. Her last activity on Facebook was November 30th, 2015. There was an unconfirmed sighting. They thought originally around Christmas time. A friend of hers had seen her. Turns out it was more along the lines of Thanksgiving instead of Christmas. In 2015, a guy's liquor in Larned, Kansas. And she was 21 years old when she went missing. She'll now be 31. She's 5'4", 150 pounds. Her weight does fluctuate. She has sandy blonde hair that she does dye on occasion, and she has green eyes. She does wear glasses, but she also has contacts as well. She has a tattoo on her left hip of a flower design, pictured up there on the far right. She also has a tattoo on her left wrist of a heart with the infinity through the heart there. This is thick, thin. And a tattoo on her upper right chest, which is also another infinity type tattoo there. Both are pictured up there as well. She has a tattoo on her outer left calf of a dream catcher, which I have yet to be able to get a picture of. If you have any information regarding Megan's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Rice County, Kansas Sheriff's Department at 620-257-7876 or 620-257-2363 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see what we can do to bring Megan home. I know, when David Madden was still among the living, I'm sure he's been the number one person of interest in her case from day one practically. So, and I'm sure any information, I'm sure he knew what happened to her and took her to the grave with him. So, but I'm hopeful that he at least told at least one person. And hopefully that one person, if he did tell one person, that one person will step up and give that information to law enforcement so they can go find Megan and bring her home, is what I'm hoping.
What's weird is I bet he did tell some people, but usually like a lot of the case, like that Stormy Gale Boomer lady, I think a lot of people know stuff in these cases, but they're afraid to talk. But in that situation, that guy's dead. So I don't see, but I could see people still being afraid of him, even though he's dead. Maybe they're afraid he knew different people that would come after him and stuff.
I guess that would be a possibility, maybe.
Or maybe you just don't want to be the one that shows everybody where somebody's remains are, because then you'd be quite. I don't know, but it's 10 years is long enough. If you're out there and you know what happened to Megan, you should definitely say something by now.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize it was our 4-year friendship anniversary 2 days ago. That's cool. 4 years. This is another one I just revived the other day too, as it's been 10 years on this little guy's case. And yeah, Vincent Moore, missing from Wichita, Kansas. It's July 11th, 2015. He was 4 months old when he went missing. He would now be 10 years old. At the time he went missing, was a foot tall, weighed 14 pounds, had black hair and brown eyes. Was last seen in the area of 31st and South Hydraulic on the morning of July 11th, 2015. It's been reported that he was last with his dad, Gary Moore Jr. The boy was reportedly last seen near South Hydraulic in Tulsa near 31st Street South. A blue floral print diaper bag that was supposed to be with Vincent remains missing as well. Police did arrest Gary, but never charged him with anything related to Vincent's disappearance. Gary claimed he left Vincent with his mother, something she has denied, which I don't know. It's kind of turned into a he said, she said kind of thing, it looks like, but I'm sure one of them knows. Again, the time of his disappearance, he was 4 months old. He would now be 10 years old. Again, when he went missing, he was a foot tall and 14 pounds. Has black hair and brown eyes. And so far, Nick Mick has not done any kind of an age progression for Vincent yet. I keep checking back to see if they have, and they have yet to do one, and I hope they do one. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
If you have any information regarding Vincent's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call 911 or call Wichita Police Department's Homicide Division at 316-268-4182 or Crime Stoppers at 316-267-2111, or you can call Nick Mick at 1-800-843-5678 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see what we can do to help get Vincent found and back to where he needs to be.
You're saying NCMEC? That's what's that acronym for?
National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I forget. Maybe not everybody knows that, but yeah, that's the acronym for them. Is NCMEC.
I think I've heard it a couple times, but I never really put it together. But it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And Haley Davis, missing from here in Salina since July 21st, 2023. 19 when she went missing. She's now 20. 5'6" to 5'7", 190 to 200 pounds. Her hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde, and she has blue eyes. She left Salina with a male acquaintance to go to Wichita, and she was last active on her social media and last heard from on July 21st. Again, at the time of her disappearance, she was 19. She's now 20. 5'6" to 5'7", weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Her hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde, and she has blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Haley's disappearance, or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or call Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477 or text SA Tips to Crimes, which is 274-637, or go to www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit a tip, or the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-268-4181 or 316-268-4407 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see what we can do to get Haley found and brought home. I know she's got family that misses her terribly. They want to know what happened to her, where she's at. They want her home. So let's see what we can do to help make that happen.
3 months from 2 years.
Yeah, coming up on 2 years pretty quick. Yep. I'll keep hoping there'll be a break in that case. I really do. And another Salina case, Catherine Adam, missing from Salina since April 29th, 1993. Was 35 when she went missing. She'd now be 67. 5'4", 120 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. Last seen at 4:30 in the morning on April 29th, 1993, a quick shop convenience store in the 1700 block of West Crawford. Here in Salina, she drove a white full-size Ford van with "She Has Legs" written on the sides. Her van turned up abandoned at 5:45 p.m. the day after she disappeared at Russell's Restaurant in the 600 block of West Point Boulevard. The restaurant was closed for remodeling at that time. The van was spattered with mud along the bottom portion of the van and blood soaked on the inside. A large amount of blood was also found at a storage unit in West Salina where Catherine, who is a saleswoman for the Legs Hosiery Company, picked up her stock each day. There was no sign of her at either place, and she's never been heard from again. There were also bullet fragments found on the ground outside the storage unit as well. Police speculate that someone attacked Catherine when she was inside the storage shed. It appeared they interrupted her in the process of loading her merchandise in her van, leaving the door of the unit open. Catherine was separated from her husband at the time of her disappearance, and he had been talked to by police extensively, and they've already eliminated him, and had a teenage daughter as well. Her case does remain unsolved after all these years. Foul play is strongly suspected. If you have any information regarding Catherine's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210, or Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477, or text SA Tips to Crimes, which is 274-637, or go to www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit a tip that way. Or you can call the KBI at 785-296-4017 or 800-572-7463 and see what we can do to help get Catherine located and back to where she needs to be to her family. So if by chance she is no longer amongst the living, they can at least give her a place to rest where they can, have somewhere to go to mourn her if that's the case. I do know over where she used to live around the Atchison area, and I know there's a cemetery over there that they've got like a memorial headstone put up for her. I guess in the event they do find her, I guess they'll lay her to rest there as well.
Dirt Roads and Main Streets. Follow Norm's YouTube channel. Follow that on YouTube. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. He's got great content. He's always put information about the towns he's in when he's there. It's nothing.
Cool.
Go ahead. Alex LaRussa.
Yeah, another Salina case. He's missing from here since December 8th, 2017. 25 years old when he went missing, now 32. 6'2", 175 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Last contact he had was with his family was at 4 a.m. on December 8th. He is wheelchair bound as his left leg is amputated above the knee. The vehicle he was driving was found on a farm in New Cambria, Kansas in northeast Saline County. His cell phone, his clothing, his wheelchair were found in the vehicle among other items. Again, when he went missing, he was 25. He's now 32, 6'2", 175 pounds, has black hair and brown eyes. Has a tattoo on the left side of his neck that says pain, and a tattoo of the number 13 on the right side of his chest, and a star on the left side of his chest, which you can see the picture of him up there. If you have any information regarding Alex's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210, or of course Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477. Or the KBI at 785-296-4017 or 800-572-7463. And see what we can do to help get Alex located and back home to his family. It's been a while since I've talked to his uncle. I need to reach out to him and see if he's heard anything new. See what happens. I'll have to do that. Because I sure haven't heard anything new on his case or any of the Salina cases for that matter, which is sad considering I live here.
Yeah.
This is Nellie Mae Hubbard. This is an unsolved homicide from March 14th, 1981. It's about 43 years ago. It'll be 44 years and 2 days. She was found deceased in a residence at 1008 East Elm Street. On the cot she slept in her living room. She was covered with a sheet, and the scarf she usually wore was found on the floor. Nellie put up a struggle during her attack, and ultimately she died of asphyxiation. She also suffered 8 broken ribs. One was broken in 2 places. She also had a broken bone in her throat. She also had an injury to the back of her skull. She also had bruises on her arms, and there was evidence of internal injuries. Upon searching her home, investigators found $93,000 in cash and over $100,000 in certificates of deposits, and a large quantity of silver coins that dated back to 1886. They also discovered that Nellie's home was filled with miscellaneous household items, trash, and other clutter. They made 2 bedrooms unusable. Let's see what we can do to help bring her killer to justice. If you have any information, please call Salina Police Department at 785-826-7210 or Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477. or text SA Tips to Crimes 274-637, or visit www.pd.solano.org. Follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit a tip that way, or call the KBI at 800-572-7463 and see what we can do to help bring some justice to Nellie and any surviving family members that she does have. And the significance of that cigarette lighter up there was that's the only piece of physical evidence that I'm aware of that they found that they believe belongs to her killer. They found it when they rolled her body on the cot. It was underneath her, and they said it was not Nellie's. Her family did because she didn't smoke or anything like that. She would have no reason to have a lighter, but so they believe that is the only piece of physical evidence aside from some blood on the kitchen door, I believe it was, because the killer gained entry by going through the window of a back door and apparently cut himself. So they do have that. So I'm hoping they run DNA on that and check for fingerprints on that lighter. You can see at the top of where the lighter is closed, you can see fingerprints on the top of it there, fingerprint dust. So hopefully somebody will remember that lighter and remember who may have had that lighter and call that in.
That's weird. There's no pictures of her anywhere online.
Just the one that I have there from a newspaper article. And other than that, I have not found anything. I have searched high and low. And this is another one from here. It's another unsolved homicide. Gina Bridget Cypher. She was 24 years old. This is back on December 28th, 1995. She dropped her 15-month-old son off at her daycare program called Morning Out for Moms at a Salina church. When she didn't return a couple hours later, the daycare called her boyfriend at work. He went to the mobile home they shared. They found Gina brutally murdered. It was at a crowded mobile home park on the west side of town. The trailers were close together. The violence happened sometime between 9 in the morning and noon. Still, all these years later, Gina Cypher's murder remains unsolved. Initial newspaper reports that she was stabbed. You look at that little playing card down there. It says she was stabbed, strangled, and possibly sexually assaulted. They say there have been a lot of leads that have gone nowhere. If you have any information regarding Gina's death, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or call Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477 or text SA Tips to Crimes 274-637 or go to www.pd.solana.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link that way to submit a tip. There is a governor's reward of $5,000 available for the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for her murder. And there's also the KBI, you can call it 800-572-7463 as well. So let's do what we can to bring justice to Gina and her son and her boyfriend and other family members, which I just found out I work with one out at work. Have you
ever heard of I think this is a lady from Kansas, a podcast called Crime and Justice.
I'm not familiar with that one, I don't think.
I just subscribed to her on YouTube. I think I've seen her on like iTunes before, but here, let me show this real quick. This is just from her. Let's see if I can even find it real quick. I might not even be able to find it. Dang it. Who knows, man? Screenshots. There we go. All right. So this is just from her video on YouTube. Again, crime and then ampersand justice, crime and justice. This is of the cops going through the messy room.
They're counting all the money.
Yeah, which that looks like a room full of old money.
Yeah,
and then this is a picture of the house that day.
Yeah, so it looked like back then. It doesn't look like that. I mean, it's the same basic. I mean, it's just been repainted and stuff. I mean, the folks that live there really don't like to be associated with that situation.
Oh, right. Yeah. But
can't do much to get away from it. I mean, that's the history of the house, man.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I wanted to take a current picture of it, but out of respect for them, I have that same photo of the house and the same photo of the money being counted. And they said the money was found in tin cans stashed around various places in the house.
Wow.
It wasn't all lumped together. It was spread around in tin cans everywhere, which I thought was interesting. And this is another one that involves Salina and Concordia, Kansas here. Nicole J. Horde, 16. She was last seen by her parents in Salina, Kansas in August 2007. On October 18, 2008, two deer hunters discovered skeletal remains in a wooded area near the Republic River in Clown County, Kansas, about a mile and a half northwest of Concordia. The area is just west of U.S. Highway 81. In late October 2008, the Cloud County Sheriff's Office announced that dental records were used to identify the remains as those of Nicole Horde. Sheriff's Office has never divulged any further details, such as the suspected manner of death, time of death, whether any weapons were found near the body, or how or if the remains were clothed. Despite this, Nicole's death is being investigated as a homicide. Nicole had been a student at Salina Central High School, my former alma mater. She withdrew from the school in February 2007. Her friends say shortly after that, Nicole moved to Concordia to live with a boyfriend. She did not maintain a close relationship with her family, but did occasionally communicate with friends online after she moved. According to a 2008 media report, Nicole's parents did not report her missing because police were already looking for her. A warrant for Nicole's arrest had been issued in May 2007 after she failed to appear for the third of 15 consecutive weekends that she had been ordered to spend in Saline County Juvenile Detention. She was ordered to serve the time after pleading guilty to a disorderly conduct charge. After spending the second weekend locked up, Nicole told her parents she couldn't stand it anymore, and according to her mother, she bolted and ran away. They last saw her in August of 2007. On November 3rd, 2010, agents with Kansas Bureau of Investigation, along with Cloud County Sheriff's deputies, Concordia police officers, began searching a mobile home and property owned by Concordia resident Chuck Robbins at 443 East 1st in a neighborhood a few hundred yards east of the U.S. Highway 81 overpass in North Concordia. Robbins gave authorities permission to search the property, including the mobile home, which he had converted into a storage building. The Cloud County attorney said the property was being searched in relation to Nicole's murder, but they would not say specifically why the property was being searched, only that there's obviously going to be something in there that they were looking for. 10 days later, on November 13th, 2010, a search dog from Wichita that specialized in searching for signs of human blood, decomposition, and bones made indications or hits on the property. Cloud County attorney would not comment on what exactly was found, only saying that it may add another piece to the investigation. If you have any information regarding Nicole's death, please call the Cloud County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 785-243-3636 or the KBI at 800-572-7463 or 785-296-8200 and see what we can do to get justice for Nicole and her family.
All right, we got a lot of cases left. Just stick around. We'll be right back after this.
Part 2. Endangered Runaways, Young Lives at Risk, Stories that Demand Attention, and a Race Against Time. Together we can make a difference.
Yeah, I got several of these tonight because last several days I've been doing a lot of juvenile runaway flyers, so we have a lot of those to go through, but this is one we've been covering for quite some time now. Benita Wallace goes by Jaden. Missing from Kansas City, Kansas since October 11th, 2022. 15 when she went missing. She's now 17. 5'5", 130 pounds. Brown hair that was dyed black and red. Eyes brown. It's believed she may still be in the Kansas City, Wyandotte County area. At the time of her disappearance, she was 15. She's now 17. She's 5'5", weighs 130 pounds. Time of her disappearance, her brown hair was dyed black and red. The red had faded, and the underside of her hair was shaved, and she has brown eyes. She has a small tattoo of two small black triangles on her upper right arm and a birthmark on the back of her right leg. She was last seen wearing a pink and blue hoodie and blue jeans at the time of her disappearance. If you have any information regarding her disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000. Or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can help get Benita located and back to where she needs to be. It's been quite some time.
Long time.
Yep. And this one's one of the ones that I basically took one of his older flyers and updated it to current. The picture in the middle I just added today. It was just sent to me this morning, so that's a new picture there. And I did update his height and weight too because I got a new height and weight form. But this is Andre G. Young, missing from Wichita, Kansas. Since March 6th of this year, he's 14, 5'3", 110 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Don't have much more than that. If you have any information regarding Andre's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9456 or 316-660-9254 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get Andre located and back to where he needs to be. And there are several Wichitaans in this group as well. So see what happens. Yeah, it is. I agree with that. It is hard to comprehend that, that people vanish or remains have been found, but no one knows a thing. I'm a firm believer that somebody knows something. It's just a matter of stepping up and doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And Braylon Evans. He's another one missing from Wichita. Since March 9th of this year, he's 16, 5'7", 150 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Braylon's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9254 or 316-660-9456 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we can't get Braylon located and back to where he needs to be. And this one is Jareth Leonard, missing from Wichita, Kansas since March 6th of 2025. He's 14, 5'5", 150 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. Don't have much more than that, but if you have any information regarding Jareth's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9254 or 316-660-9456 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get Jareth located and back to where he needs to be.
You need to know. So I thought I heard like a bunch of stuff downstairs. I thought the dogs were going through the trash or something. I was like, what's going on? Go ahead.
That's Chase Carter, missing from Wichita, Kansas since January 28th of this year. He's 17, 6'2", 190 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Don't have much more than that, but if you have any information regarding Chase's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, again, call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9254 or 316-660-9456 or 316-263-6011 or KBI at 785-296-4017. And see what we can do to get Chase located and back to where he needs to be. Yeah, I'm checking out some of the comments over there. Dear John saying they couldn't, talking about the cash in Nellie Hubbard's case, they could just give you that cash. Hard to believe it was. I kind of wonder if maybe that wasn't the plan and then he encountered her and things just went sideways. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
That's just kind of what I was thinking. This is Jennifer Carranza or Ruscia. I'm hoping I said that right. Missing from Olathe, Kansas since November 2nd, 2024. 16 when she was missing. She's now 17. She's weighs between 125 and 130 pounds. Has sandy brown hair and brown eyes. She may use the name Ruby. She was last seen walking in the 14,900 block of West 154th Street on that day. It is believed that she may be in the Topeka, Leavenworth, or Kansas City, Missouri areas. She's considered endangered due to a medical condition. Again, she was 16 when she was missing. She's now 17. She's 5'6", weighs between 125 and 130 pounds, has sandy brown hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Jennifer's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Olathe, Kansas Police Department at 913-782-0720 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can get Jennifer located and back to where she needs to be. And this is another one I did today, as a matter of fact. Ollie George Horneagle, he's a Native American young man, missing endangered runaway who went missing from Horton, Kansas on March 9th, 2025. The young lady that he was thought to be with was found earlier today, so I removed her flyer. But he is 17, 5'7", 180 pounds, brown curly hair and brown eyes. He has a U-shaped scar on his left forearm and a tattoo on his inner right middle finger that says F love. And you can use your imagination on the F part. If you have any information regarding Ollie's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Horton, Kansas Police Department at 785-486-2694 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And see what we can do to get Ollie located and back to where he needs to be.
One more missing and endangered, and then we'll go out of state.
Yeah, this is Brianna Marie Russell, a.k.a. Brianna Marie West. Way up there. Okay. Missing from Ellsworth, Kansas since March 10th of this year. She's 17, 5'8", 155 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. She went missing at approximately 8:15 that morning. Last seen by her mother at 9th Street and Stanberry Street in Ellsworth, walking in the direction of the high school. She did not attend school that day, and no contact has been made with Brianna since then. Again, she's 17, 5'8", 155 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. She was wearing black-colored pajama pants with cartoon characters on them and woodland camouflage hoodie. I'm assuming that's what the picture on the right is. It's a really blurry one, but that seems to be the description of what she was wearing. If you have any information regarding Brianna's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Ellsworth, Kansas Police Department at K9 Sergeant Kennard at 785-472-5110 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And I added this line because this was in the Ellsworth PD Facebook post, and it said anyone found to be harboring Brianna will have criminal charges filed against them. And I have to give kudos to the Ellsworth Police Department for adding that, because that's probably one of the only posts that I have seen since I started doing this almost 13 years ago, where they've actually said that in a law enforcement post. You know, anyone found to be harboring Brianna will have criminal charges filed against them. So just throwing that out there, because that's from the Ellsworth Police Department.
Yikes.
Kudos to them, and I'd like to see more law enforcement agencies follow suit and add that to their posts.
100%. Yeah, you can't do that. All right, out of state cases, and we're out of here. We'll be right back after this.
Part 3. Out of state cases. Beyond Kansas borders, stories of the lost and the unsolved remind us that every missing voice deserves to be heard.
All right. This is Rochelle Elizabeth Hammond, missing from Oscar, Colorado since August 15, 2019. She was 30 when she went missing. She's now 35, 5'6", 120 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. She was last seen walking away from her Moscow, Colorado home. She left all her belongings behind, including her phone, her identification, her car, her computer, her tools, and her pet dog. She'd only been living in the area for about 3 weeks prior to her disappearance. She had previously lived in the Columbus, Ohio area. She may be living homeless, and although police can find little evidence in her disappearance, her mother believes that she did not leave of her own accord and may have become a human trafficking victim. She does suffer from bipolar disorder and schizophrenia and has been prescribed medication for her conditions, which she also left behind. Her nose is pierced. She has numerous tattoos, including the phrase "live like a lion" on her upper chest, star behind her ear, a skull on the back of her wrist, stars on the inside of her forearm, cat with a bong on her shoulder, and other tattoos. And you can see photos of them along the bottom there. She's last known to be wearing a black tank top, khaki shorts, black Nike shoes, and she has a silver circular barbell in her nose. If you have any information regarding Rochelle's disappearance, or you know her whereabouts, please call the Alamosa County, Colorado Sheriff's Office at 719-589-6608. See if we can't get Rochelle located and back home to her family where she needs to be. And our mom I really started sharing her flyer hot and heavy because Ellen, Dana Bruce's aunt, had been in touch with Rochelle's mom and wanted to get the flyer made, get it out there, and get it covered. So that's why we've been doing her flyer every week. So, and we will continue to do so.
Yeah. It's real crazy, man. 5 years.
Yep. As well as Dana Bruce. Another one from Sedalia, Missouri. Missing since October 4th, 2008. 23 when she went missing. She's now 39. 5'2", 98 pounds, brown hair, green or hazel eyes. She last seen at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia. She had left the children there earlier that day so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight and gave the babysitter more money and asked her to watch the children for the remainder of the night. She was last seen at Malone's bar on Main Street with a young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 truck earlier on the night of her disappearance. She left with that man at 11:30 p.m. Police have identified the man Dana was with on the night she vanished. He traveled to Atlanta, Georgia after her disappearance, and police questioned him about Dana after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities have not named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. Told his questioners that he and Dana parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her again after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush and her toothbrush. She does not have any credit cards, debit cards, checking account, cell phone, or a car. And she was 23 when she went missing. She would now be 39. She is 5'2", weighs 98 pounds, has brown hair that was colored brown at the roots and black at the ends with red highlights and green or hazel eyes. She was last known to be wearing a black shirt with the word Rebel in silver lettering on the front and blue jeans. She has a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She is blind in her left eye. She has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced 1 time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or their toll-free number 866-362-6422, or you can call private investigator Leslie 910-427-0070 and see what we can do to get Dana located and back to where she needs to be. Yep. See what we can do to get her found, because I know her aunt and we'd like to get her found for her kids and get her back to where she needs to be. I mean, see what happens.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any YouTube deep dives on Dana.
I know Ellen was telling me that once upon a time there was a podcast that started doing a deep dive on her, and they did like 5 episodes and then abruptly stopped because apparently they were receiving threats of some sort, so they stopped doing it.
Really?
Yeah. So
looks like there's one. Sonova Cantrell has an episode called "Missing Mom," the Dana Bruce story.
I'll check that out.
I'm gonna drop that in the chat real quick.
Okay. Another case I've kind of gone back to. I don't know if anybody's heard of the Lauren Spear case out of Indiana. She was a University of Indiana student that went missing after a night of partying, and the 3 main guys in her case as soon as the missing person report was filed and the police started digging into it, the 3 main guys lawyered up immediately. So
wow.
What's that tell you? But a couple nights ago, I found out there was a new book about her case that was just written back in May of last year that I didn't realize. And I don't know if you can see it or you darn, there it is. College Girl Missing. And it says the true story of how a young woman disappeared in plain sight. And I just got it yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, no. Monday. I got it Monday, after work Monday. And I'm already over halfway through it. I've been really reading the heck out of it. A lot of information that I knew and a lot of information that I didn't know. So it's kind of interesting. This guy did a really good job on this book. He worked with her parents and the private investigators that her parents had hired. He re-interviewed friends of Lauren's, and I think he even spoke with maybe even spoke with a couple of the guys that lawyered up without the lawyer being present, but didn't really learn anything new from their end, of course, because they're all, not saying much. But hopefully with that book being out and people talking about it and stuff like that, that'll get Lauren back out in the forefront again and see what happened to her. Really crazy.
So there's a YouTube channel called Sedalia NJ.
Really?
And they have several videos about Dana. And this one, the description says, Sedalia, Missouri, to the lipstick and eyeshadow wearing coward last seen with Dana. Come give Webmaster T a ride in your truck.
I don't know what that's all about.
No idea.
Either.
I bet you I watch it though.
I
I'm
might
gonna
have
drop
to do
that
that.
link in the chat too.
Might have to check that one out.
Just go to your YouTube. I dropped all the links in the chat.
Oh, cool. Yeah, there's so many cases I've been trying to keep up on, like the two I talked about at the top of the show with the 14 to 16-year-old girls that were brutally murdered, and
Yeah,
just insanity, just pure insanity. And I'm going to really keep their families in prayer because I know that's got to be terribly hard to go through something like that, to find out that your daughter was murdered in that fashion.
yeah.
Just crazy. At least, like, so with the one case though, they have arrests made and they're sitting in jail where they can't pull any crap like that again. So
Yeah.
That's crazy. Also makes a person wonder, is that the first time they've ever done something like that, or have they done it prior?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Because all that stuff will come out in the wash.
We'll find out.
Yeah. Again, all I can say is parents, keep an eye on what your kids are doing online. Like I said, on their apps, on their social media, on their online gaming. Because these people are coming out of the woodwork, and they're coming to our kids from every direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just crazy. Well, if there's any cases you guys want us to cover next week, let me know. And like I said, I've got one on the board for an unsolved homicide that I was working on before the show, and had a lady message me during the show about her missing daughter. So I'll be making that one tonight, I'm sure, right after the show. Yep, there it is. Where's she missing out? Doggone it. I got a new phone too, and it's kind of trying to get used to it here. It's not much different than my old one. It's a Motorola, just like my old one. Just got a few variances, so be interesting.
A few new buttons. Oh man, I feel so dehydrated.
Have to see if she's on KBI. Because when she initially messaged me, she said the police just left her house from taking the report. So we'll have to see. But with that, I just want to thank everybody for hanging out with us tonight and going through these cases with us. And I'm sure you notice there's some cases that I removed so I can make room for more cases, especially with all these young juveniles that are apparently, since it's getting nice, they're going to be running more, I'm supposing. So I'll be doing a lot more of those, I'm sure. There was one that I did make earlier, just not too long before the show, and I didn't get a chance to get him added to the show, so I'll have to do him next week if he's still missing next week. So we'll see how that goes. And of course, the one that I'm doing, I'll be doing here in a little bit. I'll add her to the show if she's still missing next week too.
Yeah.
And I'll get that unsolved homicide that I'm working on. I'll get it on the show next week too, because it's about a 20-year-old unsolved homicide out of Kansas City. So actually 21 years old. From 2004. Oh, she's missing out of Wichita. Okay. Well, with that, I just want to say, Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together to go through these cases tonight and talk about them and get the word out about these folks and see if we can bring some missing persons home and help get some unsolved homicides solved too as well. And also want to pray for the families of the two young ladies that were brutally taken from their families last month, and pray for peace and comfort for those families as they go through this, especially Emily Pike's family. They still do not know who's responsible for what happened to her. Just really take care of both families and be with both families. And until we see each other next week, everybody stay safe, stay healthy. God bless. Keep an eye on your kids, and amen.
Back Home Media.